on a new level. Ever fresh is impossible.
Well, thank you for sticking with us on this program. Hope you had your cocoa, by the way. Is it cocoa? Whichever one.
Or maybe you're still having.
So this is a
through
breakfast
the program,
show.
relaxing and listening to us.
Well, in order for you to enjoy it better, hope you've gotten your PVC, or at least registered to get your permanent voter card, because, for instance, INEC has said that 11 million Nigerians have been added to the voter register in the ongoing CVR.
That's a lot of people.
Absolutely. That's as of 7 a.m. Monday, past July 25.
Many more have been added since Monday.
But unfortunately, as of now, millions more are yet to register.
And want to register.
The ongoing CVR will be ending tomorrow, according to INEC. The Commission has said 10 million plus new registrations were recorded, with 3.4 registering online and 7.6 million, that is, through physical registration. So much to unpack from all of that, especially given the, the information also. There are a huge number of voter cards yet to be collected by several people. So at the last count.
And some found in gutters and sewers and all that. So, I mean...
Anyway, as I said, there's so much to unpack in that conversation. So this morning we have with us to discuss the voter registration process, Wale Ogunade, who is President Voter Awareness Initiative. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
As well as Ogwebunam Kingdom, who is Executive Director, Platform for Youth and Women Development. He joins us from our studio in Abuja. Thanks for joining us this morning, Mr. Kingdom.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so let's get into it. Mr. Ogunade, this process ends tomorrow, according to INEC. And first of all, what's your take on that, given all of the issues that have arisen?
First of all, I want to thank God for this time. When we started voter education, voters awareness, people thought it wouldn't get this level. I want to thank God for people like people who supported this project, who keyed into it, and of course, Channels Television and all other media outfits that gave this project its support. Then, coming now, I want to go deep into it. I'm not in tandem with INEC saying that they are closing the shop tomorrow. Why? Because the Constitution is clear, particularly the Electoral Act. Section 9, subsection 6 is clear that 90 days is the time given for the door to be closed, for the window, which means that registration should stop 90 days before the election. I'm not good at mathematics.
3 months before February.
That's 3 months, before February.
Okay.
And if we calculate it now to February, to July, to February, is more than 3 months. And Section 1.1 of the 1999 Constitution says that all authorities and persons must subscribe to the Constitution. And Section 153, subsection F, creates INEC. INEC is a creation of the Constitution, and they cannot do anything contrary to the provisions of the Constitution. So they're closing the shop maybe 100 or more than 180 days before the elections is illegal. And I hope INEC will not push some of us to go to court to stop that nonsense. That is one. And I want to collapse it very well. I'm a pastor, and I go to services.
I'm a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer. I go to services, and when there's a pastor who is always given the responsibility to take the offering, and the person will say, is there anyone who has not put his money in the offering basket? If he hears, he will say, shout hallelujah. If he has a shout hallelujah in one corner, he will say, let's continue. We must put everything into the offering basket before you close, you say the final prayer. INEC should allow all Nigerians to vote, to register before they put a stop to it. And where am I going? There's an upsurge. All of them have agreed. And my people go there, they want to register. The whole situation is so terrible. In some cases, people go up and down daily, on a daily basis to get registered, and they come back. Not because they are not available, but because sometimes the equipments they use are not functioning, are not encouraging. So they should deploy, or since they cannot deploy, then they extend the time. Locking and closing people against, because there are millions of people that you have said who are entitled, and INEC has no power to disenfranchise them.
Okay, well, in what you said, we should just focus on all the issues you've raised, and the program will be done. but there is one of those things that you said, which I want us to expatiate a little further on.
Yes.
One of the critical issues here is the voter card has to be used. So even if you register 90 days before the election, you may not be able to get your card. Perhaps that is the reason INEC said, let's close it early so that we can prepare the cards.
Yeah.
For instance, I think I registered to vote maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, but my card is not due until September. It's about, how many months now? About 2 months, from now. So if my card, having registered some 3 or thereabout months ago, my card is not ready until September, perhaps that's the reason INEC is saying, because without the card, you cannot vote. Not your voter slip. Your voter card has to be read by the card reader, right? BVAS and all of those things. So perhaps that is why. What's your take on that?
A local musician, the late Akpala Mastro, sang a song. I'm sorry for you. That's why I'm advising you. I'm advising INEC. They are the ones that will be stopped. Because I tell you that everyone has a right to vote. It's their inalienable right. Nobody can deny them. What's the big deal? They go to Buhari and get money from him. Let them encourage, let them employ their hands who are ready to work. Let them empower people. Let them expand the coast so that all Nigeria. You tell me that they can't do it. You go to a business center. You want to do your ID card or something. In a jiffy, it comes out. Common ID, small business center. Not to talk of INEC importing as many as possible all over.
They're doing millions.
Don't forget, Mr. Gwade, that it's not just what's that thing, the ATM card that you just get at the instance. Those ones are pre-chipped. They are pre-chipped. We'll come back to more of that. Let me go to Mr. Kingdom in our Abuja studio. First of all, what's your own take on all of this conversation? Are you in tandem with agreement with INEC closing tomorrow, or you are with Mr. Gwade, who says nope,
90
we may
days.
go to court?
Thank you very much for having me on your program this morning. First of all, let me thank the Independent National Electoral Commission under the leadership of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. He has shown that INEC can actually be an independent body. As for the PVC registration, well, it depends on INEC, because the main issue is not necessarily going to register. That is like 30% of the process. You have to get your card and you have to vote. And this initiative has been on since last year to go and get your card. So INEC have tried, they've extended it like twice now. So I think Nigerians and also the civil society organizations and every stakeholder should partner and also discuss with INEC on why it shouldn't be closed for now. Because even if you go to the local government areas, the grassroots, so many people are not registered. What are your constraints? What are your challenges? Is it lack of funds? Is it lack of manpower? Is it lack of mobilization? What are your problems? Because even on Twitter yesterday, I saw a video of people not being able to register because some people came and carted away with the machines. Some people were not able to register because the machines were not working. The staffs are on. So INEC, the problem is not necessarily on INEC, and it is not also on the people. It is what INEC and the people should be able to sit down and discuss. Taking INEC to court may not be very efficient, because you might take INEC to court, you get the judgment, you win, but on the long run, can you get your card? So the main thing is getting your card and voting. Registering is just the first process.
Okay.
So INEC should tell Nigerians that if we go ahead and register everybody, every Nigerian, you may not get your card. Because I heard that collection should start from September, October. What are the processes of collection? How fast are the collection of PVCs going to be throughout the Federation? So these questions are what Nigerians must engage INEC, civil society organizations, the international communities, the political parties, the community leaders, youth groups, women groups. We have to engage INEC, be it a day or two seminar, interactive session, and ask them, people have not registered. What are your constraints? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? If INEC says, okay, we have the manpower to still register more people and still give them their PVCs by October, September, but we need more funds, then we can now appeal to the government, or Nigerians can crowdfund, because as it is now, Nigerians are willing to do anything to ensure that they have their PVC so that they can participate in building electoral processes in the country. So it is not on our side to say we are taking INEC to court or we will stage a protest. That wouldn't solve anything.
Okay.
The key issue is, are you going to get your PVC to vote if the time is extended? That is the key issue.
Okay.
And you might go to court and get a judgment, and INEC.
Yeah, Kingdom, you work with youth and women. Traditionally in Nigeria, we know that women normally come out to vote. So how much result has your, I mean, this is all in parentheses, how much result has your work with the youth yielded? Are there more of them coming out now who are showing interest in the electoral process?
Okay, as for our work, we've been able to partner with a lot of organizations, women-based organizations, youth-based organizations. And of course, even going to the grassroots, as we speak now, we have an initiative, grassroots voter education program, door-to-door exercise, to sensitize voters to come out and vote. Not only coming out to vote, because, you know, voter education is on so many levels. Nigerians, you have to know that you are eligible to vote, which is captured in the 1999 Constitution section at chapter 4 of the Constitution. You have to know that you are eligible to vote. As a citizen of the country, you are eligible to vote. So we've been able to rally around, and we've been able to reach out to women groups, youth groups in partnerships, and also with INEC and the rest. And we've been able to sensitize a lot of Nigerians on getting their PVCs. And by the grace of God, with other partners and other associations and organizations, they've been able to make a lot of impact, because going to the grassroots, you can see that people troop out in millions every day in the north, in the south, to get their PVCs. So we are doing that, and not only doing that, we have this initiative that when you have this, your card, don't go and keep it in your bedroom. Don't go and keep it in your locker. Don't go and throw it. Don't use it for ID card. Use it to vote. That is why you have your PVC, to vote. So that is the proposal, that is the initiative that we have,
just one
and
thing
by the grace of God, it is commencing on Saturday.
Just 1 second, Mr. Kingdom. Just before we come back to Mr. Ogwande, I just want to ask you, kind of follow up on the question she asked you earlier. What kind of response do you get, whether expressed feedback or just your reading of the various publics you've had to speak with or interface with in the process of this whole advocacy? What are the feelers you get of people, especially the young people that, you know, she spoke about that you've been working with, vis-a-vis the women, about this whole process?
Okay, the first response we get is people are beginning to regain confidence in the electoral processes. But there are still issues. issues of not having enough machines to register, issues of INEC closing before time, issues of not registering maybe 200 persons per day in some local governments, as I know. So these are the issues, these are the feedbacks that we're getting, that INEC have not been very proactive. That what are their constraints? Are they understaffed? Don't they have ad hoc staffs that if they are willing to volunteer to ensure that everybody gets their PVC? So those are basically the feedbacks that we're getting, that INEC are not, and would I say overwhelmed? That is the language I will use. They are overwhelmed by the entire process, because the voter turnout to get PVCs is quite cumbersome right now. So the responses are INEC is overwhelmed. So INEC should do more. Those are the responses that we're getting, especially in getting the staffs to register them.
Okay. Well, Mr. Ogwande, I see that you can't wait to respond to that.
Yes. I guess the first thing is that we should, when we come on national television, we should be more patriotic whenever we talk or present issues to us, to guide people who are watching. Telling me that INEC, there's nothing good going to INEC, we may not get anything, I will say no, it's a big lie. The National Identity Management Card said that some few months ago, said that they were closing shop against Nigerians who are not able to register. Of course, some group went to court, and it got a mandamus against them, and of course, they have to open and extend. The court is there to do its work by virtue of Section 6 of the 1999 Constitution. So all authorities, I repeat with all sense of authority, all authorities, anybody who is a creation of the Constitution, must flow with the authority, with the power and the spirit of the Constitution. So if the law in Section 9 of the Electoral Act, particularly subsection 6, says you give them 90 days, that should be. We are not begging. It's our right. We are not begging INEC to please. Why? It is our right that register everybody that comes out to vote. It's not new. They should know that there will be an upsurge by activities of this program. It's not today that Sunrise have been carrying out this type of a program of civil societies like us. So they should know and expect, and they should have gotten themselves ready. Now, and of course, don't forget, Nigerians are last minuters. Nobody can take them away. But they know that it's the last day to register.
Is that right? He said, Mr.
Yes.
Kingdom in Abuja studio said, INEC has had to extend this twice. One of those extensions, before one of those extensions, I listened to Mr. Okoye, the chairman, information. Saying at INEC, saying that the process had been on about 11 months or thereabout before that time.
Yes.
So, in terms of voter awareness, shouldn't I indict you?
Yes.
Mr. of not giving enough awareness
people out to go and register.
To go and do it before. Why must we always be last minute?
My answer is that because there's an upsurge, it means voters awareness initiative is working. Don't forget, I cannot force
Voters awareness initiative is working 11 months after time.
No, before we've been working, and don't forget, I cannot go. Even I can't go to court now to force somebody to go and quickly register. That's the difference. But because that individual is not a creation of the Constitution. But INEC can be forced to register those who come to vote or register before 90 days.
Let's speak to ourselves for a moment.
Yes,
I understand the law. I'm not a lawyer.
Don't worry.
But I know that the law has to get its job done.
Yes.
We as a people also have that responsibility.
Section 22 of the Constitution
says,
yes, that it is your duty to be a good citizen.
Exactly. And one of the elements of being a good citizen is to perform your civic responsibility of registering for elections, which is what we're supposed to be doing.
There is no provision that says that you should not do anything last minute in Nigeria.
Sounds to me that you're just making excuses for people.
Yes. No, but Mr. Ogunade,
yes, ma'am.
INEC gave the date of the deadline.
I said it's good because we are looking at the Constitution. So that 90 days. That's what we are looking at. They can't do that. Okay, let's leave that. You see people going to court after 90 days. Let's wait and see. And I'm just saying, you know, I sang Palamastro's song, Ayila Omawura. Don't worry, they will say, Ogwade has said it again.
But you know, the thing is this. What do you say to that element that we, raised? I mean, Mr. Kingdom also said it, that collection of PVCs have to start September, October. or thereabouts for a sizable number of people. The cards are not just ordinary cards. The cards are chipped. Do you know what it means to be chipped?
It's not something you can. I'm a lawyer.
Which is unfortunate.
But Mr. Kingdom, I can imagine that simple technology, those people will do it. All you need to do is that we are under pressure. How do you do it? Technology, we are talking of technology. Split second. We are talking of technology.
But you're not talking of technology for 5 cards. You're talking of
millions. Tens of millions.
Mass production. It can be done. Mass production.
Well, maybe when you join INEC. Well, some of that other issues have been raised, about this process, and I know, of course, INEC would also want to respond to some of them.
For your information, sir, when we started, technology cannot be done, it can't work. Here we are with beavers. So they'll sit down and put in their thinking corners. There are people like us that will give them idea. This is how to do it. How did they get to beavers? How do we get to this transmission of election results all over immediately? INEC is a work in progress. Democracy is a work in progress. So you can't just sit down and say, yeah, we want to give up. Then we'll not put some other. No. And don't forget, election is a voters' festival. It's a festival of voters. Everyone wants to be involved. And now people want to be involved. We now want to lock them out. Please, let them stop that.
Let's talk about the voting process itself. There are those who say, that as Mr. Kingdom referenced the other time, I'd like you to respond to it. He says his team have gone out advocating to people, don't just get the card.
Use
for identity purposes. Use it to vote. And there are those who have said, maybe unofficially, that this whole thing, I just want to collect the card and be able to use it for international passport or those other important identity purposes. What do we say to them? How do we get them? How do we engage them to say, guys, you need to use this card for its primary function?
Yes. Democracy, as defined by the schoolboy, is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. You are the people. It is your duty not to do them. Now we. This government is our own by virtue of your participating through your thumbprint. That voter's card is your power. Not voting enables somebody who is a non-entity to occupy office, and it will not be in your mouth to say that government no do well. For government to do well, you must partake in it. How do you partake? Vote. So that voter's card, look at all the effort by everyone put into it for the voter's card for you to get registered. Don't waste it. This is an opportunity. You say this Nigeria is no good, or is this way. It is your duty now to use your thumb through the voter's card to vote in the best candidate. And the only way you can get it, that's a passport. You just talked about passport. Sorry, that's the visa of getting into participating in government. Without your PVC, without your re-registering as a voter, you cannot vote. And of course, whatever they are doing, you just be looking. And I don't think you should be a lookman. Did I say lookman?
What are some of the... We asked Mr. Kingdom the other time about some of the feedback that he's gotten in your own work.
Yes.
Concerning voter awareness.
Yes.
What are some of the feedback you have gotten?
It's the same thing. My people are crying. I've said it some few minutes ago. Maybe I'll repeat it for emphasis. I have members all over the country who are giving us the reports that the machines are not working. In some cases, the crowd and the workers, some of the ad hoc class staff, some of them, we ask them, they say they are just rented. Some of them are not the one that they were trained. And in some cases, you don't see the ad hoc staff. They don't come on time. And if they come on time, they are highly hostile. And I have to intervene sometime inside the redemption camp. That please, it is a national duty, You have to relax. People will come, they are angry. Someone left his place of work to come and register, and at 4 o'clock, he's not gotten it done, which means he has to come tomorrow. His job is at stake. He will look at it, if I can't get registered today, I'm not coming tomorrow because INEC will not feed me. In fact, government will not feed me because in Nigeria, it is give us this day our daily bread. If you don't get work, go. Government no go give you anything, no. So why will you want to lose it? But despite all the sacrifices, we still encourage that INEC should further train their staffers, that they should be polite to their people. Of course, ensure that encourage people to come and register. And of course, the last byline here is that if you have registered, it is your duty to struggle to go and vote. I want to tell you my experience one time. I lived in a place, and of course that goes about transfer of registration as it's established in section 19 of 99 of the Electoral Act. If it's your duty, if you just move from anywhere, go to where they are registering new people, show them your card. They will call it transfer. If it's that your old one is lost and so on under section 18, you put it that it is a replacement that they want. The Electoral Act is clear, and all the officers are there to respond and to relate with you, cooperate with you, to ensure that it's a seamless process. So since the Electoral Act 2022 has now made the electoral process a seamless act, then why the stress? Why does INEC now wants to put stress on the system? Let people register when it's time. Let them increase their technology.
The process of transfer is actually even simpler than that. Even from your phone, go to cvr.inecnigeria.org.
True technology.
Yes, they can. You can just put in the information there, and if you need to go to the INEC office. No, I mean those. I'm just saying that
so that doesn't seem as
if
these are things that is rocket science.
There are some things that are super than rocket science.
I used it and it worked.
Exactly. So
I just have to select what area I had relocated to and which particular polling area I wanted.
That's it.
Full stop.
And if you want to
then I got an email, I think a day later, confirming that they had received my,
as good as that.
My
wish
let us
to change
to transfer
to the issue of registering. They can even open the portal now that because it's closed physically, register manually. These things can be done. Why would you say we want to put stress on the system?
Let's come back to you, Mr. Kingdom. We have barely 2 minutes more on this segment, but I'd like to ask you, both of you, but starting from you, Mr. Kingdom, as we round this off. And you are the one that started this, and I think it is important to close on that end. Whether INEC expands the time or not, we will have to go out and vote at the end of the day. What I have observed over time is the higher the number of voters, the lower the percentage of turnout during the elections. How do we begin to reverse that?
Thank you very much. INEC has done its bit by ensuring that at least up to 10 million voters are added to the ones previously had. In 2019, we had about 84 million voters, and only 29 million Nigerians participated, which is quite very poor. So moving ahead to 2023, we've started this initiative, I mentioned it earlier, grassroots voter education program, to ensure that Nigerians come out to vote, to be educated on the reasons why they should vote. Voter education has 3 segments. It has to be neutral, it has to be clear, and it has to be universal. Universal in the sense that it should be non-discriminatory. It should touch every region. Clear in the sense that the messages from INEC should get to every individual, be it through sign languages, be it translated into pidgin language or whatever language anybody understands, and universal. I think I've talked about universal, clear, and neutrality in the sense that it has no political affiliations. You go out to the grassroots and you tell Nigerians, this is what you should do, this is how you should go about it. If possible, conduct a mock election to ensure that Nigerians are quite educated on the reasons why they should vote. So many Nigerians, even as we speak, so many Nigerians don't know that vote buying is a crime. So that is why voter education is very important to encourage Nigerians and also to make them understand the reasons why they should be part of building the democratic and electoral process in the country. So we're embarking on this project from September, and it will last for 5 to 6 months till February before the elections, to ensure that Nigerians in all local government areas, 774 local governments, are educated on the reasons why they should vote. Not for any political party, not for any candidate, but ensuring that they participate in the electoral process in the country, because that is the only way Nigerians can actually have a say in government. And issues regarding valid votes and invalid votes, it is because of lack of voter education programs. Through our initiative, we can now be able to, with other partners, other Nigerians doing it, we can now be able to ensure that Nigerians vote right and also vote and also come out en masse, troop out en masse to cast their ballot.
All right. Well, Mr. Ogwade, 30 seconds. Same question.
I read a book some time ago, If Tomorrow Comes. And of course, youths are leaders of tomorrow, we are told. 2023 is tomorrow. Let them grab tomorrow with all sense of seriousness. Or else 2023 will slip by and there will be another gnashing of teeth for another 4 years. I hope that will not be our portion.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Well, Mr. Reggie Williams has sent us his thoughts about all this, and he says, we Nigerians are too used to accepting inefficiencies. It should not take more than 2 hours to register each person. 2 hours? It should be less than that.
Oh.
The registration process is cumbersome and
Maybe he meant
inefficient.
2 minutes.
2
Why
minutes.
do Nigerians have to suffer for such inefficiencies?
Well, questions.
Maybe he meant 2 minutes.
He must have meant
It's
2
not 2
minutes.
hours.
Yes, not 2
I
hours.
remember we engaged INEC one day. I don't know, which of the sun rises, and we literally had to take them up on some of these things. We opened their website, and they took us through some things. For now, gentlemen, we have to thank you very much for being a part of our conversation today. Ogogunam Kingdom is Executive Director, Platform for Youth and Women Development, joined us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for your time this morning, as well as Mr. Wale Ogwade. I don't even know which one to call it. Mr. Barrister Pastor Wale Ogwade is President, Voter Awareness Initiative. Thank you so much.
To God be the glory.
Okay. So Sunrise returns in a moment with yet another topic. This time, it's about the younger generation. Stay with us.